An East Texas family is living a nightmare that they pray no other family will ever endure. The Walkers lost their son Colin to fentanyl back in 2023. It's been an emotional roller coaster ever since, with a suspected internet dealer getting charged in the death back in September, followed by some unexpected turns with the judicial system. CBS 19's Dana Huey sat down with Colin's mother, Ginger, who's not giving up the fight for justice for her son and other children like him.
Colin was one of those kids. I mean, if you look around the room in the photos, he was so sweet and he was gentle. He loved animals and he loved all of his friends. I always knew he was sweet and kind. You know, just, you know your kid's heart. But what I really didn't know was how many people he saved. Since his passing, just off the top of my head, there's 3 or 4 people, 3 in particular, that have told me that Colin saved their life.
And yet, Colin Walker's life cut all too short by fentanyl, a deadly synthetic opioid that the DEA says is being pressed into fake pills and cut into heroin, cocaine, and other street drugs to drive addiction. Colin, a University of Oklahoma and All Saints graduate, was just 28 years old and working on another degree in industrial design at Metropolitan State University in Denver when his parents got the call no one wants to hear.
It just doesn't even feel real. So I get up every day and you look around, you see all the photos, and it makes me really sad.
But his mom, Ginger, doesn't want what happened to Colin to be the end of another son or daughter's story.
But it sounded like he was trying to get Xanax to help with the anxiety and to help him sleep, not knowing that, you know, obviously it was laced with fentanyl. But, you know, I wish I would have known more.
She believes Colin, like a lot of people, was dealing with anxiety and depression.
I didn't really realize to what extent. I think he's kind of a typical boy that didn't always talk about his feelings, at least to myself or my husband. Yeah, he'd just tell me he was having trouble sleeping. And I do know he was, you know, reached out to the counselors at school. I think he was doing the right thing, you know, trying to get help. And then unfortunately, he reached out to the wrong person.
Ginger says it's not always a dealer on the street selling fentanyl, but people behind smartphones and computer screens.
You know, with technology advancements, traffickers exploit that.
Assistant Special Agent in Charge, Ivan Carrera with the Drug Enforcement Administration, says parents should know traffickers are lurking on social media, advertising and selling the drugs.
They use smartphones and encrypted applications to communicate with each other. So they get into that space and they market the pills to look like legitimate pharmaceutical pills, but these are not legitimate pharmaceutical pills. They're illicit.
Even in her grief, Ginger is begging children, whether you're a teenager or an adult, to talk to your parents or someone you trust and tell them you're struggling and not to buy or take pills that don't come from your doctor.
Because if it happened to us, and if it happened to him, it can happen to you. It crosses socioeconomic barriers. It can happen to anyone.
Because one pill can kill.
This is a fight to save lives. They will target anyone who will consume the product because once they consume it once, the addictive properties within this opioid are so strong that it triggers a chemical reaction in a human to want to get that again and again.
The DEA says drug cartels are making fentanyl to look like Xanax, Adderall, OxyContin, and other pharmaceuticals.
The only safe way to get one of those pills is through your doctor, prescribed to you, and you can acquire it through a registered pharmacy that is authorized to distribute controlled substances in our country. That's it.
In other cases, the fentanyl looks like candy, but it's 50 times more potent than heroin. It only takes a small dose of fentanyl to be lethal.
It's just, you know, I can't just sit here and not do anything. So I'm trying to get justice for Colin, and then I can't bring him back, but I just want to try to save other kids and other people.
Dana Huey, CBS 19.
And there is a lot of fentanyl circulating out there. In 2024, the DEA seized more than 60 million fentanyl-laced fake pills and nearly 8,000 pounds of fentanyl powder. That's the equivalent to more than 377 million lethal doses. Parents, there is so much valuable information on the One Pill Can Kill site. We have a link to that on our website, cbs19.tv.